policy says it is imprudent and restricted for one deputy to pursue a suspect and attempt to physically apprehend him alone.
At the same time, when officers go in there and engage with an armed and dangerous suspect, that's doing your job. That's what you're paid to do.
Should police officers pursue fleeing suspects? Recently, a sheriff's deputy was disciplined for violating the pursuit policy of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Being the news behind the news, Full Disclosure spoke to the people on both sides of this issue.
We allow for a deputy to track or follow a suspect at some distance while he mobilizes the resources necessary to bring about that capture.
There's a certain amount of validity to that approach in that we would like to reduce the risk to an officer by engaging one-on-one. But should that officer be confronted, if the bad guy should turn and engage, or if there's a position where the officer has no other recourse but to engage the bad guy, there cannot be punishment for that. We have to let the officer do his job or her job. They have to be able to chase and at some point, if necessary, challenge the bad guy and attempt to arrest them.
But we do not want a deputy to physically engage, grapple with the suspect at the end of a foot pursuit, because in that story, if the deputy does not win that fight, we can only guess what the consequences can be. And we're not going to have a policy that encourages or permits people to put their lives in that kind of danger.
I understand where he's saying failure is not an option because we don't want to bury a police officer. But to not try to do anything is worse. To give the appearance that we're just stop and waving, you know, that sends the wrong message to the community. And believe me, every gang member will hear that and know that all they got to do is run, shoot and run, and they won't give chase. So you don't want that appearance either.
So how is this policy established? Chief McSweeney explains the origin.
For many years, a cardinal rule of police officer training, going back to when we were probably children, was never split from your partner. When you are involved in a field incident and you need to go after someone, you and your partner stay together. What happened in the last 20 years or so was that we had many, many patrol cars being manned or personed by one officer, by one deputy. And we did not alter our policy to reflect the pursuit safety issue to adjust or adapt to the fact that we had one officer in the car. Strangely, that old notion, don't separate, don't chase alone, did not get quickly translated into you're now in a patrol car alone. It's not a good idea to chase alone.
I think when the sheriffs implemented this policy, it didn't take into account how many single-person units they have out there. So what they've done is they've actually implemented a policy that restricts all single-person units that are working by them when an officer is working by himself, not to go in foot pursuits, period. Therefore, they're useless. You've rendered those cars useless.
Leslie, if you looked at Compton, California, fourth most dangerous city in America, we are fielding one-person cars in those areas. Is that a crime in itself? Absolutely. Now, we've been fortunate, we've been lucky that our officers are not being killed, but they're challenging the bad guy down there every day, chasing him, shooting it out with him, fighting with him, and they're doing it in one-person cars. Is that, first of all, fair to the officer? No. Secondly, is that good policing for the community? No.
The reason the policy culminated in about 2004 was out of a concern for the safety of the officer.
Absolutely, and nothing else, by the way. There are secondary benefits. The safety of suspects are involved. The safety of the general public is improved. Anytime you reduce the chance of a shooting, you are increasing the benefit of the safety of the general public, because when there are shootings, of course, rounds sometimes don't strike a target, and we're not always sure where they end up. So there are a lot of secondary benefits, but number one, absolutely driving force was the safety of our personnel.
The people who support the policy and say it's to protect the officers, they know better. They know that that policy is simply to protect the department. What they're concerned about, Leslie, in reality, is what occurs at the end of those foot pursuits. Commonly, the bad guy will resist. There will be an engagement. It will be physical, or there will be shots fired. That's what they want to avoid. We're not talking about officers being injured. It's rare that an officer is injured in a foot pursuit. If I didn't mention this, 20 years since a Los Angeles County Deputy Sheriff's been killed in a foot pursuit. 4 in the last 50 years. This is a situation, and we actually did a study on this and found that it's rare that a Los Angeles County Deputy Sheriff is injured in a foot pursuit.
So why was this no pursuit policy established? Was it merely the risk management people in the Sheriff's Department making policy to avoid liability?
You know, you never want to say that liability is not a concern. Liability is an issue in everything we do. If we have liability, it means someone was hurt that in the eyes of a jury shouldn't have been hurt. I don't think you can turn a blind eye to the fact that if we hurt someone we shouldn't have hurt, then we need to rethink a little bit what we're doing. But I will tell you, in the list of things we were concerned about in building this policy, that wasn't on the page.
I think that every case needs to be looked at individually, but I would never ever restrict an officer from doing their duty, and that's to protect and to serve, before anything else. Before you are sitting there looking at what are the repercussions if my officer winds up shooting somebody, what is it saying to the community, and what kind of message are you putting out to the community? That armed and dangerous suspects at any time, they can walk around with guns, just all they have to do is run, and officers can't give chase. I mean, you don't want that kind of perception going on out there.
Concern of the Sheriff's Department in virtually every policy we have that's field-oriented tactics is the safety of the deputy, number one, the safety of the general public, and then the safety of the suspect. We're concerned about the safety of all of them. This isn't like the military. We're in a zero-casualty business. We may have an adversary, but our goal is not to end up with that adversary dead. Our goal is to end up with that adversary in jail.
Do we want our cops to be proactive or reactive? Are we just going to be a cleanup crew that comes in at the end of crime scenes and we just try to gather evidence and put crimes, to put cases together? Or are we going to be proactive and get in there and try to stop it before it gets to the point where other people have been killed?
Every day that we're told that we cannot pursue in a vehicle, that we cannot pursue on foot, that we cannot shoot, that we cannot use a baton to hit, that we cannot use a flashlight to hit, those are things that make it more dangerous for LA City, LA County.
We want to know what you think. Please respond to our survey and leave your comments below. Number 1. If an officer feels compelled to engage in a foot pursuit in order to perform his sworn duty in spite of department policy, should he be disciplined? Yes or no? Number 2. Since single patrol officers are restricted from engaging in foot pursuits, should single unit patrols be eliminated? Yes or no? Number 3. In regards to pursuing fleeing suspects, should officer safety be considered more important than public safety? Yes or no? Please respond to our survey and leave your comments below. Thank you. As you can see, full disclosure is not in the business of distorting the news. We're not in the business of trying to convince our viewers, only to inform them. We're a nonprofit educational organization. We provide the platform and the vehicle where you can hear the various perspectives. It's up to you, the viewers, to determine what is right and what is wrong. If you want full disclosure to continue to shine the light of truth on important issues that the mainstream media just won't do, then we need your support. There are so many important issues facing our communities, our state, and our nation. And your tax-deductible contribution can help us get the word out to continue informing the public. You are invited to join the Friends of Full Disclosure. Your support will help assure that we can reach more and more people and improve the production quality of our programs. All you have to do is send us the much-needed support using PayPal. Just click on the link below and join at whatever level you can afford. Our goal is government accountability. When the people are informed on the issues, then the people in government must do what is right, because they know we're watching. Together we can make a difference, but we need your support to continue bringing you the news behind the news. Please contribute what you can. Thank you.